Jill Duggar's wedding to her new boyfriend Ben Sewald Secrets revealed as strain builds over Duggar legacy and family expectations. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For Duggar family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. When the world first met the Duggar family through 19 kids and counting, the show wasn't just about everyday life in a household with nearly 24 children. It was about faith, discipline, and a carefully constructed public image. Millions tuned in to see Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar raise their children under a strict code of modesty, obedience, and unwavering Christian values. But as with many reality TV families, what appeared on screen was only part of the story. Off-camera, cracks began to form. Some children started questioning the rules, others felt suffocated by expectations, and scandals surrounding Josh Duggar began to unravel the Duggar brand. At the center of this storm stands Jill Duggar Dillard, once a dutiful daughter, now a woman battling heartbreak, strained family ties, and the constant pressure of being a Duggar in a world that demands perfection. And when we bring in the struggles of her sister Jessa and her husband Ben, the picture grows even darker. This is the emotional, complicated, and shocking story of Jill's heartbreak with Derick, the Duggar family's divisions, and the quiet pain of Ben and Jessa, Jill and Derick, the love story that wasn't so simple. At first, Jill and Derick Dillard seemed like the perfect match. They met through missionary work, and their courtship was presented as wholesome and God-centered. Their wedding was televised, their first child was celebrated on TV, and the couple was positioned as a shining example of Duggar values. But almost immediately after the cameras stopped rolling, reality set in: financial struggles. Derick struggled to find stable work. His attempts at missionary work often left the family dependent on donations and financial support, which created criticism and even ridicule online. Isolation. Jill was torn between loyalty to her husband and the control of her parents, who had always dictated the lives of their children. Choosing Derick meant stepping away from the Duggar machine, and Jill knew it would cost her. Emotional strain. The couple faced stress from raising children without consistent income, moving frequently, and the heavy weight of public scrutiny. Derick grew increasingly vocal about the Duggar family's hypocrisy. He accused Jim Bob of hoarding profits from the show, claimed Jill was denied compensation for years of filming, and suggested darker control mechanisms behind the scenes. For Jill, this wasn't just about money, it was about identity. Could she remain the loyal Duggar daughter and still stand by her husband? Heartbreak behind closed doors. Sources close to Jill have spoken about how hard this has been on her emotionally. Imagine growing up in a home where obedience was everything, then marrying a man who constantly pushes you to stand up against that very system. It's not just a marital struggle, it's a spiritual and psychological war inside Jill's heart. She has admitted in interviews that setting boundaries with her family caused tears, arguments, and breakdowns. She has revealed needing therapy to cope with years of trauma from her upbringing and the fallout with her parents. At one point, she admitted she wasn't even allowed to visit her family's home unless Jim Bob gave explicit permission. For a woman raised to believe family was sacred, being cut off was devastating. Jill's marriage to Derick hasn't been without love, but it has been full of pain, sacrifice, and loss. The book that shook the family. Jill's memoir, Counting the Cost, was the ultimate act of rebellion against Duggar's silence. In it, she described exploitation on the show. Jill claimed she never saw a dime for years of filming. The strict contract. She revealed she was pressured to sign agreements she barely understood. The manipulation. Jim Bob allegedly used faith and fear to keep control over his children's lives and money. Derick stood by her, encouraging her to speak her truth, but this only deepened the rift with the family. For Jill, writing the book was healing. For Jim Bob and Michelle, it was betrayal. Ben and Jessa's struggles. While Jill and Derick were fighting their battles openly, Ben and Jessa Sewald were fighting quieter but equally painful wars. Jessa was once the darling of the Duggar daughters, beautiful, outspoken, and seemingly happy in her marriage to Ben. But cracks began to show. Financial stress. Like Derick, Ben never found a traditional career. The couple has relied heavily on social media income, sponsorships, and sometimes support from the family. Parenting challenges. With multiple children and a smaller home, Jessa has faced criticism for everything from messy houses to parenting choices, miscarriages, and grief. Jessa bravely shared her experiences with pregnancy loss, opening up about the pain that so many women face silently. But behind the courage was undeniable sorrow. And Ben himself? Many Duggar watchers describe him as struggling under the weight of responsibility. Married young, father of several kids, and thrust into a high-pressure environment, Ben has appeared tired, overwhelmed, and sometimes checked out. Unlike Derick, Ben hasn't openly fought Jim Bob. But his quiet compliance hasn't made life easier. The tension of trying to live up to Duggar's standards while barely keeping afloat has put a visible strain on his marriage. Jill versus Jessa. Sisters on different paths, though they were once inseparable, Jill and Jessa's relationship has been tested by their different choices. Jill stepped away, wrote a book, and confronted the family system head-on. Jessa stayed closer, defended her parents more, and tried to maintain balance. This difference has created distance. While not publicly feuding, the sisters no longer appear as united as they once were. Fans who remember their close bond during 19 Kids and counting now wonder if they can ever heal that divide. The Duggar family's silence. One of the most chilling aspects of all this drama is the Duggar family's silence. Jim Bob and Michelle rarely respond directly to criticism. Instead, they continue presenting a picture-perfect Christian image, posting Bible verses, family updates, and smiling photos. But behind the smiles, it's clear. Jill is out, Jessa is torn, Ben is struggling, Derick is furious, and the once unbreakable Duggar empire is now a fractured family, splintered by secrets, scandals, and heartbreak. Why this story matters? This isn't just about one family. It's about the cost of extreme control, the dangers of living life for public approval, and the quiet ways heartbreak destroys people who can't live up to impossible standards. Jill's tears, Derick's anger, Jessa's struggles, and Ben's exhaustion represent something bigger. The fight to find freedom, love, and authenticity in a world that demanded perfection. Conclusion: the future of Jill, Derick, Ben, and Jessa. Where do things go from here for Jill and Derick? They've found healing in therapy, faith on their own terms, and the strength to speak out. But the heartbreak of being estranged from family lingers for Jessa and Ben. Their marriage will continue to face challenges. Whether they confront the Duggar legacy or try to remain silent, the struggle is real. For the Duggar family, the empire has cracked, and the public no longer sees them as untouchable. The scandals, the heartbreaks, and the divisions are too visible, and for fans, Jana Duggar reunites with 40 family members and celebrates 20 weeks of pregnancy. Now that most of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's kids are all grown up, getting their adult children, spouses, and more than 30 grandchildren in the same place at the same time has to be a nearly impossible task, but somehow, the family made it happen. Jana Duggar shared footage of the oversized family's very ambitious beach reunion. Right around the same time, she marked 20 weeks of pregnancy in a post on Instagram. The Duggars met up in Florida. In the caption of her vlog on YouTube, Jana explained that this trip took place shortly after she and husband Stephen Wisman got married last year. Though not everyone in the family was able to make it, Jill Duggar and her kids were notably missing, as were Jinger, and hers it looks like most of Jana's siblings were there, including Josiah and his wife, Lauren, who have been living much more private lives with their children in recent years. After getting her first robotic manicure at the airport, Jana and Stephen were off, and it seems like the family got to enjoy plenty of togetherness, sharing a big rental house together. They were able to take part in a family vacation tradition. As Jana explained in the video, the Duggars love to take a walk along the beach together at night when they go on vacation together, and this reunion presented the perfect opportunity for that. Despite a little rain, they also managed to pose for family photos together, a must, since it's so rare for the family to be in the same place at the same time. Jana also shared that she is now 20 weeks pregnant. Days after sharing her new vlog, Jana took to Instagram to supply her followers with a new baby bump update, posing in front of a full-length mirror in a gray sweater and jeans. Halfway through pregnancy, and I'm still in awe. It sure has flown by, she wrote. I love feeling those tiny kicks these days. Jana announced that she's expecting in August. Following plenty of speculation that she might be pregnant, Jana confirmed the good news in a post on August 18th, showing off her bump for the very first time. "We're so excited. January 2026 is going to come with a little bundle of joy joining our family," Jana wrote. "We're counting down the days and eagerly looking forward to this thrilling new chapter in our lives." Duggar news. Jana Duggar getting big sponsors after social media return. Jana Duggar and her family have been away from the limelight. Everyone in the reality TV fanbase must be aware of Josh Duggar's case and how it cost the Duggars their show on TLC. Since then, everyone in the family has avoided being in the limelight. Duggar News followers still get a glimpse of some siblings who are trying to move on from the fiasco. One of them is Jana Duggar. She has marked her return to the vlogging world after being away from it for almost 3 years. Now that she is back, fans realize she is trying to take on the YouTube vlog world by becoming an influencer. Owing to this, fans have realized she may have already procured a sponsorship. Which brand is it? Duggar News. Jana is working with Amazon, getting sponsorship after just 3 videos. Among all the Duggar siblings that fans saw, 19 kids and counting and later counting on, Jana was the oldest. Despite the Duggars having a rule to start courting from 16 years old, she didn't marry young. In fact, she is one among the adult kids who is above 30 and still single. Yet, she is thriving in her life. Her YouTube updates suggest so. Jana is back in the vlogging world and has been posting videos about her new home and the projects she took on. Duggar News followers are very impressed by seeing this side of her. In her videos, Jana goes into detail about how she set up new projects in her new home. At the same time, she urges people to check the description box for more details. That's when a Duggar News follower realized that all of Jana's links in the description direct fans to Amazon's website. So, they have been wondering if the international company has her working with them and officially sponsoring her. Someone stated how Jessa Duggar is also in the same commission program. So, she must be the one teaching her sister, Jana. Duggar News. Jana's secretly engaged to a divorcee? Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar don't approve. Apart from Jana thriving career-wise, things are blooming in her love life, too. Duggar News viewers noticed that there was a big engagement ring on her finger in one of her family photos with her sibling, John David. Since then, everyone has been curious to know who her fiancé is. Earlier, there were rumors about her dating Steven Wisman, but she never confirmed this. A source on Reddit opened up about this matter. They revealed how Jana's new husband-to-be has previously been married. So, he is a divorcee with kids of his own. Apparently, this news didn't land well with her parents, Jim Bob and Michelle, as it goes against their fundamentalist Christian ideology. Now fans and viewers know Jana is not living with them. Could this be why they're on good terms? Jana had admitted she left her parents' Arkansas compound a few years ago. Her clothes also went against the family norms in the new video she had put up. It was supposed to be the perfect love story. Jana Duggar, the eldest daughter of the famously conservative Duggar family, waited longer than any of her siblings to find love. While her sisters married in their early 20s, Jana stayed single, often becoming a second mother to her younger siblings, quietly supporting her family while enduring rumors about her singleness. But when Steven Wisman entered her life, it seemed like the wait had finally been worth it. Steven was charming, well-mannered, and from a respected Christian family in Nebraska. He had the looks of a classic Southern gentleman and the charisma that quickly won over many in the Duggar circle. Their courtship had been quiet at first, not officially confirmed by the Duggar parents until almost a year after they began seeing each other. But once it was public, fans rejoiced. Jana was finally going to have her moment. Their wedding, held in a rustic Arkansas chapel, was covered by tabloids and YouTube channels alike. There were tears, prayers, hymns, and heartfelt speeches from siblings. Even Jim Bob looked genuinely emotional as he walked his eldest daughter down the aisle. For once, Jana seemed truly happy, genuinely in love. But behind the smiles and staged photos, a storm was brewing. Cracks in the marriage. Almost immediately after the honeymoon, those close to the family began noticing signs that things weren't right. Jana, always known for her grace and composure, appeared increasingly withdrawn. While the Duggar daughters typically shared cheerful updates about their lives on social media, Jana went nearly silent. Fans speculated she was simply enjoying married life in private, but sources say the truth was far darker. Stephen, once seen as gentle and God-fearing, reportedly had a controlling side. According to one anonymous family friend, Stephen started isolating Jana. She couldn't visit her family unless he approved it. Even phone calls were monitored. He began enforcing strict rules, even beyond the Duggar standards. No makeup. No music that wasn't instrumental. No jeans even around the house. He pressured her to avoid social media completely and allegedly discouraged her from pursuing any of her interests outside of home duties. Behind closed doors, Jana was becoming a shell of herself. Whispers turn into warnings. Jinger Duggar shockingly leaves Jeremy Vuolo. Duggar family in tears, divorce revealed. The Duggar family had long been accustomed to public scrutiny. With years in the spotlight and countless headlines, they thought they had weathered almost every storm imaginable. But nothing could have prepared them for the shocking announcement that Jinger Duggar, once considered one of the strongest anchors of stability in the family, had walked away from her husband Jeremy Vuolo. The news spread like wildfire. It wasn't a whisper, nor a slow trickle of rumors. It was everywhere in an instant. Social media exploded with hashtags like hashtag Jinger and Jeremy, hashtag Duggar divorce, and even the heartbreaking hashtag Pray for the Duggars. Fans were in disbelief. Critics dissected every detail, and inside the Duggar home, tears fell freely as the weight of Jinger's choice became undeniable. The cracks began to show. From the outside, Jinger and Jeremy had always seemed picture-perfect. Their love story was the stuff of modern Duggar legend. A pastor and a sweet daughter from one of America's most watched families. What could possibly go wrong? They moved from Arkansas to Texas and later to California, where Jeremy pursued ministry and Jinger embraced city life. But behind the filtered Instagram posts and carefully worded interviews, cracks had begun to form. Jeremy's passion for ministry often consumed his time. He was driven, focused, and ambitious. He had dreams of expanding his influence beyond the pulpit, writing books, building podcasts, becoming a household name in evangelical circles. Jinger supported him, but as she tried to balance her own role as wife, mother, and individual, she often felt invisible in the shadows of his growing spotlight. Small disagreements grew into bigger ones. Jinger's voice, once cheerful and full of laughter, turned softer and quieter. Nights that had once been filled with shared prayers and whispered dreams were now marked by cold silences, the breaking point. It was one evening in Los Angeles that the final straw came. Jeremy had just returned from a late meeting, his phone buzzing nonstop with ministry updates. Jinger had been waiting for him, her hands trembling as she held a letter she had written earlier that day. The house was quiet, their children asleep, but her heart pounded louder than any noise. "Jeremy," she said, her voice breaking. He glanced up distractedly, loosening his tie. "What is it, Jinger? Can it wait? I've had a long day." Her tears spilled over. "That's just it. It always has to wait. I've been waiting for years, Jeremy. Waiting for you to see me, to hear me, to understand that I'm drowning." He froze, his brows furrowing. "What are you saying?" Her hands shook as she placed the letter on the table. "I can't keep living like this. I love you, but love isn't enough when I feel like a stranger in my own marriage. I'm leaving." The words hung heavy in the air, more crushing than any silence that had come before. Shockwaves through the Duggar home. The very next day, Jinger called her parents. Michelle answered first, her familiar warm tone quickly faltering when she heard her daughter's sobs. Jim Bob soon joined, and together they listened in stunned disbelief as Jinger confessed the truth. "Mom, Dad, I've left Jeremy." Michelle's hand flew to her mouth. Jim Bob's voice broke, something rarely heard from the patriarch of the Duggar clan. "Jinger, sweetheart, are you sure about this? Marriage is sacred. We've always taught you." "I know what you've taught me," Jinger whispered, "but I also know what I've lived. I can't keep sacrificing myself to keep up appearances. This isn't about disobedience or rebellion. It's about survival." Back in Arkansas, the Duggar household was shaken to its core. Siblings gathered, whispering, crying, and praying. Some were sympathetic, others struggled to understand. Joy and Jana held each other, tears streaming down their faces as they processed the reality that their sister's marriage, something they had admired, was crumbling. Jeremy silenced, as the headlines spread. One voice remained notably absent, Jeremy's. While Duggar issued a brief statement confirming the separation, Jeremy refused to comment publicly. He deleted several recent posts, stopped recording his podcast, and even canceled an upcoming speaking engagement. Friends close to him revealed that he was devastated. He didn't see it coming, one confidant shared. He thought they were just going through a rough patch. To Jeremy, divorce wasn't even on the table. He feels blindsided, but some whispered that Jeremy's pride had blinded him for years, that he had ignored Duggar's quiet cries for help until they turned into a roar he could no longer silence. Fans and critics react. The public reaction was intense. Longtime Duggar fans flooded social media with prayers for reconciliation. Others criticized Jeremy, claiming he had been more focused on his image than his marriage. A few even criticized Duggar, accusing her of abandoning her vows, but for every critic, there were hundreds of supporters. Women across the country praised her courage for stepping away from an unhappy marriage, especially given the Duggar family's strict teachings on marriage and divorce. Duggar's choice is revolutionary, one journalist wrote. She is redefining what it means to be a Duggar woman, choosing her voice, her well-being, and her future over an image of perfection. Michelle's tears and Jim Bob's struggle. Inside the Duggar home, emotions ran high. Michelle spent nights in prayer, tears soaking her pillow as she begged God to heal her daughter's broken marriage. She loved Jeremy like a son and had always admired their bond, but seeing Duggar so deeply wounded shattered her heart. Jim Bob, however, struggled differently. As patriarch, he had always been a firm believer that marriage was for life. To him, divorce was failure, a stain on the family's name. Yet, even he could not ignore the pain in Duggar's voice. For the first time in years, Jim Bob found himself at a loss for words. His role as father, leader, and protector felt powerless against the storm tearing through his family. Sisters in solidarity. Duggar found her greatest comfort not in headlines or statements, but in the quiet support of her sisters. Jill, who had walked her own painful road away from the family's teachings, was the first to reach out. "You're not alone, Duggar," she whispered over the phone. "Did I know what it feels like to walk a road no one else understands? And I'll walk it with you." Jessa, despite her initial shock, soon followed. She showed up at Duggar's door with coffee, snacks, and tear-streaked cheeks. "I don't care what people say. You're my sister and I love you. That's all that matters." One by one, the Duggar daughters rallied around Duggar, their shared bond outweighing even the heaviest of traditions. A glimmer of hope. Weeks passed and the media frenzy only grew. Paparazzi hounded Duggar in Los Angeles, desperate for a photo of her without her wedding ring. Jeremy retreated further into silence, his church congregation confused and heartbroken. Yet, through it all, there were whispers of hope. Friends close to the couple revealed that despite the separation, neither had fully closed the door on. Duggar still loves Jeremy, a family insider said. She just needs him to change. She needs to feel seen, heard, and valued. If Jeremy can face his pride, there might still be a chance the family in tears.